Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the biggest redemption story, I think, in gaming history, and that's No Man's Sky. Now, Hello Games asked me if I could do a sponsored video on the Switch 2 version of this game. But funny enough, I've actually been playing it a bit on the Xbox Series because so many people in the comment section, as I would cover these different updates for No Man's Sky, asked me, hey, you gotta check this thing out. It's so much different than when it came out before. But I was curious about the Switch 2 version, so I said, you know what? I will take a look at it there on the Switch 2, especially since there's cross-save support and all kinds of stuff when it goes into this then being also a portable version of the game that, well, spoiler alert, looks significantly better than the Switch 1, but we'll go over all of that here today. So if you guys enjoy this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Now we will be focusing in on the Switch 2 version, which is out now. If you have the Switch 1 version, this is just a free update for when you get a Switch 2. It's also available on the Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And I thought about this, there is cross-save progression, but I figured I'll start up brand new here because the idea of No Man's Sky is when you start a game, you're going to get a different experience every single time. It's procedurally generated, and you'll have your own little system there to explore in the beginning. Now, when I did start it up and look, there were options, of course, for accessibility, general system and gameplay options, as well as what I saw here, the ability to unlock the frame rate cap. I decided to do that just to see how it would exactly behave here, as it mentions that there can be screen tearing if you turn it off. I haven't really seen much of that so far, and at least from what I've seen, this seems to be just a smoother experience, so that's kind of the way I've been playing it really since then. Everything you're seeing in this video, I did record at 4K, so if you have those settings on for YouTube, it should look pretty clean here. And that's the biggest thing I've noticed playing on the Switch 2 is the image quality is very good. Now, the resolution they were aiming for here, docked mode, 1440p, and that's with DLSS and a dynamic resolution scaling in place. In handheld mode, it's 1080p at 40 FPS. They are then tapping into VRR and DLSS, and we'll get to handheld play a little later on in the video where I kind of show you how that looks. When you start at the game, you're given a pretty basic walkthrough of some of the abilities and mechanics such as resource gathering and suit management, and you'll see right away just how dangerous these environments can be. You have blizzards coming in or literal firestorms that'll threaten you on some of these planets, and eventually you get to where your starship is repaired and you're able to take off into space, which I still think is the big aha moment of this game if you've never played it. And it's really cool. It's completely seamless. So you can go from planet surface and then even just kind of go up in the air a bit and fly around in the planet's atmosphere. Then you can leave the atmosphere all in one shot, as I mentioned, go into space, travel very, very far to another planet, go into its atmosphere, and then land without anything stopping you or cutting away. It's completely seamless, and it's really, really cool to see in action. It really does give you that sense of if you see it, you can go to it. Like, I legitimately believe when I look out there after playing this game that if you see any of those stars that are twinkling, if you spend enough time going there, you can legitimately get there. And that's kind of always the pitch has been with this. It's a vast universe while being truly unique. So my adventure, for example, I spent time crafting and exploring a few of these planets, and they did change based on environments. I had one that was very, very hot, one that was very, very cold with blizzards that just seem to always come in at the most inopportune time to annoy me. But the thing with that is, as these weather conditions happen, you'll be notified and you can build maybe structures to then take shelter in or find caves. You can manipulate the terrain to make it a bit easier to get out of the way of this stuff in your own cave. After a lot of the weather conditions cleared and I was able to gather more resources, I decided to take off and explore one of the moons that was circling the planet. And that's the thing you'll come across when you scan a planet. It'll tell you the resources and if there are any different things that are orbiting it. Like, for example, you you can have moons or asteroids or other things like space stations. So when I saw that there was a moon, I decided, hey, I'll go there and see what's happening. And when I got there, I figured I'll build a base. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of aliens started attacking me on the dark side of the moon. So it's, it's basically just like real life. After retreating from the moon, I did go back to the planet and I found a settlement after scanning once again. And while I couldn't really understand the residents that were there because there's a language barrier, I used the universal language of money and they gave me an upgrade module, so that worked out. I looked around and logged a bunch of new wildlife with like fauna and one very massive worm that burrows underground. I even found this what looked like a downed frigate way off in the distance. I spent time running to it and using my jetpack to kind of fly over large structures to make it a bit easier. And once I got there, I looked around, scanned, and found extra materials that were inside. So I had to kind of break in through some doors. And at that time, I had to clear out any debris so that the structure would open, only to find these containers just let out a bunch of radiation. So I had to grab anything that was really good and expensive and make it out of there before I ran out of time. All of this, by the way, happened in like the first hour or so. And that's the thing that I feel like makes this game very compelling for a lot of the fan base that's built up. One, everything that you're doing, it feels very unique and personal. And two, it does a very good job of consistently giving you something else to go and do and go and discover. And that is the big pitch, once again, of this game. Vast universe, tons of stuff to discover, and this consistent progression system that you always see in front of you. It's kind of the sense of wonder that's always present. And while this is all great, the thing that I typically expect from these games that add this many updates, and I mean, if you look at the list of updates, it's quite a number of them. The most recent one that they did was in June alongside of the Switch 2 release, and that's for Beacon. But going back from there, I mean, it's update after update after update, and a lot of it's content stuff, sometimes adding support for other operating systems or even PSVR 2. And when I'm going back and looking, I'm like, man, this is so much. You feel like something would be paid. No, these are all just free updates that they've been adding, and it really starts to feel like that Hello Games is just, they're just kind of having fun building on top of this game, adding more and more to it, almost like they're also fans alongside of everyone else here. And while this is all well and good, because I've been playing here in docked mode, how does it perform in handheld mode when with the Switch 1 we may see kind of that Vaseline effect come into play? Not the case here. I mentioned it's 1080p 40 FPS in handheld mode, okay, is what they're shooting for. And it looks very sharp and I would argue runs smoother here than it does even in docked play. And to me, that's awesome because No Man's Sky does feel like a massive game. So then when you shrink it down and put it onto a handheld device, it feels almost like, it almost does feel impossible. And I don't want to say it's an impossible port because it's on the Switch 1, but it's still the way it's presented here and how it looks and how it's running. It is quite impressive. In fact, I found myself playing it a lot in handheld mode and then realizing, oh, I wasn't really capturing any of this footage, which becomes a problem when you go, oh, I want to show some of this cool stuff that I'm doing outside of just pointing the camera at the Switch 2. There is also full multiplayer for the Switch 2 version, and with everything around this game and all the stuff you can do, it's no wonder I see people mention that they've been playing the game for years and they have hundreds and hundreds of hours logged in this game. While I was scratching the surface here in this video as I was showing the opening and sort of what my experiences were with the Switch 2 in the first couple of hours, I mean, you can go on and on and on with the amount of upgrades, the discoveries, finding different space stations, running against different settlements, and doing a lot of this stuff even with friends online. There's just a lot of game here to experience with No Man's Sky. And I do like the idea of even taking the save and moving it between different platforms, even in this case, using my Switch 2 as the portable version of the game, and then maybe transferring it over, whether it's to PC or say PlayStation or something, and then continuing on there. So there's a lot of freedom in the game, the game itself, but then also a lot of flexibility outside of that, just where you experience it and how. So yes, No Man's Sky fans, I get it. I understand why there's so much excitement around this game when these updates drop and why people have gotten so into No Man's Sky over the years. And it just continues to reinforce how this really is like the biggest redemption story we've seen in gaming history, just about. forever at this point with Hello Games. But let me know what you guys think about No Man's Sky down below in the comments, whether you picked it up on the Switch too, or if you're playing it on any other platforms down below. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.